right. You want to know something really terrifying? You want to know something really, really terrifying? I'll go ahead and let you know. You remember how I've been saying on the channel that one of the things you should be doing right now is getting armed? Do you remember how often have I said that? I'd say since I came back to doing regular political content, it's been kind of often. So this is a reminder for any of you who haven't actually, you know, gotten armed. Maybe it's a good idea to. Now, why would I be such an advocate for having firearms? Obviously, one, it's a great self-defense tool, as we have a state that is getting more and more fascistic by the day. But here's an actual reason. Sylvie Snow says, I mentally can't be armed, unfortunately. Then that is a problem for you to figure out. But here's the reason why I have been such an advocate lately for having weapons of your own for self-defense. Here's an email from the office of Roger Stone. I don't know when this leaked in particular, but I do know that I came across it today. From the office of Roger Stone. As we discussed over the phone, when re-elected, I believe you need to address the sticky issue of the Second Amendment and the, quote, right to bear arms, quote, by our opponents and enemies. Actually, no. We're not going to do it that way. Sorry, we're going to read this in the voice it deserves. As we discussed over the phone, when re-elected, I believe you need to address the sticky issue of the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms by our opponents and enemies. We can't get around the gun issue with our base by promising to fix in nearly 2025, or fix in early 2025 that won't affect patriots. We can get around it by promising that it won't affect patriots. The fix could include a new licensing program that would ensure that our enemies can't get guns by empowering the FBI and local law enforcement with the right to confiscate guns of anyone who is deemed to be an enemy of the state. We can decide the parameters that would determine what actually is an enemy later so the base doesn't flip out. Please let me know whether you would like me to draw up some plans for your review. Sorry, I have something fascistic stuck in my throat. If you read the 1938 gun laws closely and compare them to early 1928 Weimar gun legislation as a straightforward exercise of statutory interpretation, several conclusions become clear. First, with regard to possession and carrying of firearms, the Nazi regime relaxed the gun laws that were in place in Germany at the time they seized power, but the Nazi gun laws of 1938 specifically banned Jewish people from obtaining a license to manufacture firearms or ammunition. And approximately 8 months after enacting the 1938 Nazi gun laws, Hitler imposed regulations prohibiting Jewish people from possessing any dangerous weapons, including firearms. Holy fucking shit, it's that thing I've been telling you! It's the fucking thing! It's the thing I've been saying! How on this fucking green ball of a planet do we keep repeating this? How in the fuck? This is the exact, like, I'm not even being hyperbolic. I'm not even being hyperbolic. This is from scholarship.law and Columbian EDU. This is an actual piece of scholarly material going over the gun legislations in Nazi Germany. This is a leaked email, one of many leaked emails from Roger Stone to Trump. How many fucking times? How many fucking times? Do I have to go, here's the thing that happened in Nazi Germany. Here's the thing we're doing. It's the exact same fucking thing. And while we don't have anything, to my knowledge, currently on the books like this, Trump has attempted to enact red flag laws in the past. Which is exactly what this kind of shit is. It is a way to get guns out of the hands of people who are deemed mentally incapable of owning them. Which sounds like a great thing to do until you remember that these people think every trans person is mentally fucking ill. Holy fucking shit, people, how many ways do I have to tell you that the Trump administration is actively goddamn scared of us? How many examples do you need? From him trying to silence whistleblowers, to him actively trying to selectively remove guns. If being armed was not a good idea, then why the fuck is your enemy trying to disarm you? Why is your enemy trying so hard to remove your rights to have a weapon? If having a weapon is not a good idea for defending yourself against that enemy. In what world? In what fucking world can the average American citizen not put 2 and 2 together here? Remember, the NRA famously says that we need guns in order to prevent the rise of tyranny. Well, if you want to know what most Americans consider the rise of tyranny, it is gun confiscation. And wouldn't you fucking know it, what is this? What is this email right here? And make no mistake, it is not the first time that shit has leaked from Roger Stone. Here's another one that happened during Trump's campaign. The FBI and other investigators probing the apparent hack and leak of Trump's campaign documents, which Donald Trump has blamed on Iran, suspect that the hackers were able to compromise the personal email account of longtime Republican and Trump operative Roger Stone. The hackers used access to Stone's email to try to break into the account of a senior Trump campaign official as part of a persistent effort to access campaign networks, one of the sources said. The hacking incident, which occurred in June, set off a scramble in the Trump campaign, the FBI, and Microsoft, which spotted the intrusion attempts to contain the incident and determine if there was a broader cyber threat from Iran. I like how CNN here focuses super heavily on, oh my god, a hack happened, and that's just so bad. When we actually look at the actual verbiage of the actual emails used in the hack, or that were taken from said hack, we get shit like this. We can get around the gun issue with our base by promising a fix in early 2025 that won't affect patriots. The fix could include a new licensing program that can ensure that our enemies can't get guns by empowering the FBI and local law enforcement with the right to confiscate guns from anybody that we deem an enemy of the state. Should also be noted that this is the same guy that actively calls for intimidation at polling spots, calls for armed guards at polling locations. The longtime Donald Trump ally and friend Roger Stone said Republicans should send armed guards to the polls in November to ensure a Trump victory. And of course, it's over on X, so let's go ahead and see if that's even a thing we can see.
I just wanted to thank you again. I think we have a friend in common. Do you know Josh Standiford? We're working together on the Lion of Judah program with the app. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Doesn't sound familiar, but
Oh, okay. Well, it's a turnout operation. Well, basically what it is we're recruiting people to work in election, in the polls, in the swing states, in Wisconsin, Arizona, and Michigan.
Right.
And, you know, basically getting people on the inside. So that's and so then, you know, the question from there is like, I mean, look, I appreciated your answer earlier tonight about what to do, but the fact of the matter is in 2020, like, we had control, and and they were able to take it from us. So my question is how, with them in control, how...
We never really had control.
What do you mean?
I was indicted by Donald Trump's Justice Department.
Okay.
Donald Trump never controlled his Justice Department. Bill Barr was a traitorous piece of human garbage. The guy who trafficked cocaine through the bushes into Arkansas.
Bill Barr?
Yeah, read my book.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a piece of shit. He's a CIA general counsel. He's a piece of shit. Trump read a law review article, never checked his background, made him attorney general. Once we get back in, he has to go to prison. He has to go to prison. He's a criminal.
Yeah, but how are we going to get back in if they're in control right now and we're on the outside?
First of all, it's a state question. It's not a federal question. So it's not who controls the federal government. It controls the state government.
Boy, howdy. Remember how often I've been saying that you need to get involved in your local politics at a state level and do this shit from the ground up? My God, it is so weird that that one of the guys in the Republican Party who holds a fuck ton of power and has the president's ear is also saying the same thing. My God, how often do your enemies have to actively tell you where their Achilles heel is before you are willing to shoot the damn thing?
They use the Justice Department to harass you when you're in office, but this is about an election. You got to fight it out on a state-by-state basis. Look, you got the worst.
But how do we do that? If we couldn't do it the last time, do we have anything?
Very clear, we did nothing in 2020.
Okay.
We did nothing. Zero.
Okay.
Zero. I mean,
Well, come on, we did some.
Very, very
We
little.
filed, what, how many lawsuits did we file?
the 62, and you know how
Exactly.
many of them were heard?
Yeah.
Zero.
Well, how do we get them heard, though?
So that's not a question of you didn't have the evidence. No,
You're right.
The evidence was never weighed, it was never looked at.
But what's going to stop them from doing the exact same play again?
They may try, but at least this time they'll have an effort. Well, the last time,
What's the effort?
the effort?
Yeah.
We're already in court in Wisconsin. We're already in court in Wisconsin. We're already in court in Florida.
What are we doing there?
Forcing them to take dead people off the voting rolls.
Okay, but sure, but
Sure.
is that really going to stop them from taking the election?
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Remains to be seen.
I mean, I don't want to be cynical or anything, but
will
dead
be-
people, you talk about Kennedy, dead people have been voting since long before Kennedy, right?
It will not be easy. But
Do we have anything going for us that I can tell my friends that we've got a hope to cling on to, that these fuckers aren't going to steal this fucking
I
election?
just told you several things that we're doing.
Well, yeah, but come on. We
Not a
need...
magician.
Is it... Right, but do we have a magician? Do we have...
There is no magician.
We have an
You
alien cannon
you have
somewhere out
you have
there.
to fight it out on a state-by-state basis, but you have to be ready.
Right.
When they threw us out of Detroit, you go get a court order, you come in with your own armed guards, and you dispute it. Instead, our guys just left.
Well, that's true.
Allowed them to count 300.
Well, that's what line of duty, that's what we're working on. We're getting people who are trained by us into the election center to call out the fraud when they see it, so we can get these cases in the moment that they happen.
So what he's talking about, the person in the front, he's talking about poll watchers. What Roger Stone is talking about is not poll watchers. What Roger Stone is talking about is intimidation. Very, very different. Very, very different. From top to bottom, this guy is just a piece of shit. Cassini Cavalier says, when did this take place? This was in August. This was on August 4th of 2024. Right now, all of this is incredibly relevant because Trump does have office. Now that he has office and he has the ear of, and people like Roger Stone have his ear, that means that we are going to see an attempt at a red flag law again. We are going to see something that is going to restrict the rights of you and I to hold weapons in some way, shape, or form. And on the flip side, if Roger Stone gets what he wants, the next elections are going to have a lot more armed guards at the fucking polling locations, which is not what you want to see. We don't need threats of violence in a fucking democracy. We're not supposed to. That's not supposed to be a thing that is required by any of us. And yet, here we are. While as of right now, we do not have any bills that, or any executive orders that are actively trying to prohibit people from having guns, it needs to be noted as a point of red alarm that people who have Trump's ear are suggesting to him that he remove guns from our hands by labeling us enemies of the state. This is also the same guy that says he'll use the military on the enemy from within, which is the same language that Hitler used repeatedly. And remember what he did to the enemy from within? Just remember what he did. It was the Night of Long Knives. They are gone now. Several of his enemies from within have ceased being. They have ceased being. Or they did cease being, you know, in the 30s. This is a guy who wants to have our military attack our own citizens and has people in his ear asking him to remove weaponry from our own citizens, but specifically only the ones that they don't like. And if they literally are willing to have a fully arbitrary definition of the people they don't like having guns for an amount of time until they can post hoc define what an enemy of the state is. If Trump is willing to say we need to send military to the enemy from within, and people from his side are trying to label people who shouldn't have guns as enemies of the state, I can put two and two together. A lot of you can too. That all said, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about this? Well, quite frankly, most of what we can do here is be on watch. We need to be vigilant about keeping an ear to the ground on Trump executive orders and about bills that are going through Congress that would work on weapons. In the meantime, if you have the mental fortitude to, if you have the ability to, your enemies have already told you they don't want you having a weapon. So maybe it's a good idea for you to have a weapon. If you are not comfortable with a gun, then find some other weapon you can use to defend yourself in case things go bad. The best kind of weapon, honestly, the best kind of weapon you possibly could have is one you never have to use. You should never, ever, ever get a gun or a knife or a taser in anticipation of using the damn thing. The best kind of weapon you possibly can have is one you are not able, or one you don't have to use. Sylvie says, is a utility knife accessible? I hate to tell you this, Sylvie, but if somebody has a gun and you bring a knife to that fight, I'm not going to do the math for you. There is an old adage with police that anybody with a knife is just as deadly at 20 feet as anybody with a gun, but I'm not exactly sure how much I trust that. If you cannot trust yourself with a gun, then that is a thing for you to figure out on your own time. Either find another weapon that you can have or anything. Just basically have a form of self-defense. Have something and hope you never have to use the damn thing. Your enemies have literally told you they don't want you to have one. That should be all the signal you need that you should have one. Over and above anything else. And again, I hate to keep doing the Godwin's Law thing, but Nazi Germany did that. We are seeing a lot of that same shit happen with the MAGA movement. It is a good idea for us to learn from history. It is a good idea for us to be able to fight this stuff as it is coming down. And you want to know a good way you can fight these regulations? Not just getting armed, obviously. You're not going to be fighting the entire military with a weapon that you have. That's not going to be doing the same work for you as being able to defend yourself from some random fucking white supremacist who happens to knock on your door because they feel like that's what they want to do that day. Instead, the way you actively fight for this is by getting involved in your local political scene. This will get you familiar with your representatives, and those representatives are going to be the ones in Congress trying to protect your rights to have a weapon at the federal and at the state level. Those representatives need to know that you're there for them They are fighting for you. Period. Mobilize will allow you to get involved in a chapter for your Democratic Party that may be trying to argue for gun control. Maybe it's time you sit down and have a conversation about this with them. About how, yes, we should have stricter licensing procedures, but maybe we should draw the line somewhere so that those of us that need the ability to defend ourselves do not lose the ability to defend ourselves. And if you want to go further left, then there's the Democratic Socialists of America, which, might I remind most of you, the further left you go, the more guns of yours you get back. That all said, thank you for watching. If you want to support what I do, please consider checking out my Patreon. I would definitely appreciate it if you did. I also have a Magic the Gathering channel if you would like to go check that out and go see some card game stuff that's not going to be anywhere near as upsetting as everything here. And if you want to support what I'm doing directly, aside from Patreon, you can also go to fourthwall.com and pick up my playmat. Please consider subscribing to the politics channel, and please consider subscribing and following on my various streaming platforms. That all said, thank you all for watching, and insert end of video tag line here. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.